The death by suicide of a 32-year-old mother of two in Andhra Pradesh last week has raised serious questions over the consequences of politically motivated trolls and accusations on social media. At a ruling YSR CP rally on the 4th of March, Gothi Geetanjali Devi had praised the state government for giving her a plot of land to build a house under a housing scheme. The video of her praising the government and Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy was used by the YSR CP in its social media campaign and went viral, after which she was allegedly trolled by several other handles which also used enormously derogatory language. The police suspect that she was distressed due to the accusations and threw herself before a moving train. The State Women's Commission has asked for action against the handles that used derogatory language, and the YSR CP has accused the opposition parties of trolling Geetanjali, a charge denied by the opposition. The larger question we are raising this evening: should political parties express great restraint while accusing or hitting out at people who endorse an ideology or support a political party, especially in election season? And more importantly, should they put down and condemn vehemently derogatory social media posts against those who support other parties? Joining me this evening, we hope to be joined by my colleague Uma Sudhir in a bit, but Jyotsna Thirunagari of the Telugu Desam Party and also YSR CP Lok Sabha MP Bharat Margani. Bharat Margani and Jyotsna, first to you, Bharat. I don't want to turn this into a this versus that, this party versus that party issue, but unfortunately it often becomes that, and often people who make comments in favor or against a political party are used by the party propaganda machinery to be targeted on social media, including with the use of derogatory language. This needs to be stopped.
Absolutely. I totally agree on this issue, because no party, and it is not a party issue. It's they need to have a little concern about the lady. So when she got a welfare scheme, and when the lady, the Geetanjali, got her own house, and for the first time she owned a house, and she was stating in that video that I used to pay 7,500 as a house rent every month. And at the same time, I need to pay 2,500 for the current bill. The 10,000 rupees is kept for this the rental purpose. And now I'm receiving this much of the spur from the government that I own a house right now, and I'm so happy. And she is expressing her gratitude to the Honorable Chief Minister. And in a way, the people from the TDP, from ITDP, and there are some sector of the people who abuses with a derogatory language and with foul and filthy language to a woman. It is really unexpected, and this kind of situation has to arise. And nowadays, if you happen to see in anywhere, so if anybody praising
Jyotsna,
one party,
your defense in this
especially
particular
the
case, and a larger message.
Sorry? No, this kind of situation shouldn't have
Jyotsna,
to arise.
your response to this message.
Yes, as I said, it's a profound tragedy, and one thing, as human beings, we have to first respond to that. To the bereaved family and friends and the loved ones, we extend our heartfelt condolences, I should say, because it's very heart-wrenching. One thing here is, there are a lot of unanswered questions here, which we are also worried of. Because, see, politically mudslinging and all this will happen. I know it will happen because it's a pattern they have been following. YSRCP has been following over years. So I'm not going to talk about it here. But my question is, if when the train accident happened on 7th, why wasn't a medico-legal case at least was registered? Why wasn't registered? Who stopped it? Who stopped it? And also, let me complete, Mr. Bharat. The point here is, she met with an accident, or you call it a suicide or an accident or whatnot, on 7th till 11th. There was no FIR that was registered. What was stopping them?
See,
whether it was the government, because the railway authorities, it's a train mishap, right? It's a train accident. See, as I said, I'm worried about the unanswered questions.
Okay.
Unanswered questions.
I don't want to go into the specific.
Yes.
See,
As
one
I
thing
said,
she has to
whoever
condemn that
Hang on.
think
I don't want to go into the
whoever
specifics
the
of this
people
particular
harassed her
case.
verbally
I want to
on
bring
social
Uma Sudhir
platform
into this. I
and
think the larger question is how political parties target anyone who's an individual who supports either X or Y and often make derogatory comments and accusations against them for a simple point of view. That's really the core issue we will have to address this evening. Is that something that all political parties need to take responsibility for, Uma?
Veera, first the specific itself, what Jyotsna is talking about, saying that 7th the accident happened, why wasn't a medical legal case registered? Let's even presume that the death is not related to the trolling itself. But look at it isolated. This lady makes this comment, and then the kind of comments that have been directed at her, very vulgar, very disparaging, and very humiliating. Personally very offensive, and anyone could be driven to take an extreme step with this kind of an offensive attack. I'm saying even if the tragedy had not happened, shouldn't a political party say that they are distancing themselves from this kind of trolling of a woman who has made some innocent comments as a voter, as someone who is happy with whatever is happening? But the larger point, Veera, like you said, the media, the social media, we had hoped would democratize media voices and get more voices into the public domain. But what has happened with this kind of trolling is such offensive. It is meant to humiliate, it is meant to threaten, it's meant to intimidate, and it's not just a Gitanjali. There are women journalists, for instance, who get targeted all the time, and especially it's not just the men journalists. The women journalists tend to get targeted with that sexual threat as well, that humiliation and calling you names and calling you a pimp, calling you a Paytm, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what happened to Gitanjali as well. My point is, why can't all political parties, whenever this kind of trolling happens and the complaint comes to them or it comes to their notice, why can't they publicly say that we distance ourselves from this kind of language being used against any woman or a woman journalist for that matter? Why can't they do that? And the second thing I must point out, just one other person who had filed a complaint, a woman journalist, a senior woman journalist who had filed a complaint. Nothing happened. Multiple cases were booked, multiple sections of the law were invoked. But she asked this question to me when I discussed this once again with her. She said, why can't social media handles all ask for, something like an Aadhaar card so that they don't create all these fake IDs through which they say whatever they want to women and get away with it, never get punished for it.
See, one thing
Uma, I think the larger question you're raising is why should social... No, I'm just going to pose this question, Bharat. We have very limited time. A very specific question, first to you and then to Jyotsna. Should political parties take responsibility for toning this down and sending out strong trolling messages against the trolls who in these cases come up? Irrespective of which political party is, responsibility lies with those who have the social media machinery. Bharat, first to you and then to Jyotsna.
Especially, I wanted to give a statement here. The TDP is the sponsoring this kind of people. So, if you happen to see, there are 3 to 4 segment of people who constantly harassed her, abusive words and with the derogatory language. She is completely, the TDP spokesperson is not condemning the fact what had happened, and these people have completely made derogatory statements against that particular lady, and the honorable chief minister has given his condolences and to their bereaved family, and we have announced 20 lakh rupees as an relief fund also. But one thing I'm very clear, and we are also not left out with this kind of derogatory languages by the TDP officially sponsored this kind of hooligans. And this kind of situation shouldn't have to arise across the country. And there should be a proper framework has to be framed as per the law. And this kind of trolling, because everybody are not that strong enough mentally. So this kind of situation shouldn't have to arise anywhere across the country, and the government should take proactive measures in this regard.
Keep the focus on that larger issue here, Bharat. The fact that it may be the TDP today, it may be the YSRCP tomorrow, it could be another party day after. Jyotsna, is it important that all political parties, and perhaps in this case you need to take responsibility that possibly the TDP should have put down those trolls?
Whether it is TDP, as you rightly quoted, Veera, and also very rightly quoted by Uma Sudhir, the point is, whichever political party is, we should draw a very, very strong line when it comes to, passing comments. Whichever political party is, whether it is TDP or YSRCP or BJP or Congress, whichever it is. See, I'll tell you one another example here. Women farmers of Amaravati, because Uma Sudhir knows it very well also, women farmers of Amaravati were totally called as Paytms, were called humiliated, targeted, intimidated, day in and day out. Till date, they are being targeted like that. So it's just the women who are being targeted, and it is not probably related to one particular party here, right? It's absolutely not. It is a thing that has been happening across parties, and in this particular case also. In this particular case also, we request the state government of Andhra Pradesh to conduct a thorough inquiry, a thorough investigation to be done. We request, we demand a thorough inquiry to be done.
Still,
We request a thorough inquiry to be done.
This becomes X versus Y. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time, but this has become an X versus Y battle. Maybe the responsibility lies with everyone, including those who condemn. In this case, those who trolled the girl need to be condemned, irrespective of what the facts of the case are, use of such derogatory languages. And I hope that all political parties will ensure that Uma Sudhir as well. Thanks much for joining us.